Welcome everybody, welcome back to Vinland Saga. We are here with episode 19. Yeah. Let's get started, shall we? I don't have a lot to say. Honestly, last 3 episodes were absolutely crazy. I don't know where we're going with this, but we sure as hell have some interesting plot points to look into. Let's get this party started, shall we? Vinland Saga episode 19, I have it up and ready to go over here. We are going to start this episode in a 3, a 2, a 1, a go. And it is Thorkel and Thorfinn. Oh yeah, he crashed into a tree, holy shit. You got smoked, my dude.
バイカとっとぜおいっていうか生きてるよまだやれそうだな手当ての時間やるよなめんなとっととかかってこいいやさすがにそれじゃ戦えないだろせてめえの情けなんだ
Adrenaline
おいおっさんこらやらせてやれ誰か椅子持ってこい見せてみろ。引っ込めはげ。てめえの手当てでもしてろや。いいから見せろ。触んだ。
doesn't want to accept any help.
頭を使え。勝つために今何をしたらいいと思う。久しぶりに楽しませてもらったぞ、トルフィン。約束通り話を聞かせてやろう。お前の親父。トールズの話だ。
Oh. I'm curious as hell. Let's see what he has to tell.
Alright,
so we have their history. Backstory time.
波の戦士じゃ入団さえ許されない戦士団にあってトロルとあだ名されるほどにな狩猟のシグバルディは奴を気に入り娘の一人を与えたそれがお前の母ヘルガだヨウムの狩猟が俺の祖父そうだ
The head of the Yom's Vikings.
つまり俺はお前の王子ってことだなへえ大将の親戚嘘最後の戦はノルウェーのヒョルンガバーグ負け戦だった海戦の最中トールズは海に落ちて、
This is when he tapped out.
俺は泣いたよいつか奴を倒すつもりだったんだ俺のこの手でだがトールズは死んじゃいなかった奴と最後に会ったのはヨムスボルグ葬式の3ヶ月後だった
So he knew he wasn't dead.
マジか見回りが言った出るぞおいこそ泥かてめえらここが戦士団幹部トールズの家だと知っててかトルケル普段はこそ泥なんざほっとくんだが友人を亡くしたばかりでな近頃機嫌が悪い
And that surprised him.
トールズおまなんだよどこを突き歩いてやった 葬式あげちまったじゃねえかよ。わかったわかった。落ち着けトルケル。
He's like, this guy's too much.
すまなかったな。お、よく見りゃヘルガじゃねえか。どうしたおい、夫婦揃って小汚ねえ格好して。
トルケルおじ様。
やっぱな、海に落ちたぐらいで死ぬはずねえもんな。
すみませんおじ様、私たち。
兄貴にはもうあったか。まだか。よっしゃ、叩き起こしてきてやる。
トルケル、話を聞いてくれ。
おう、積もる話は館でしようや。どうした？
He's very unaware of other people.
狩猟には合わない。俺たちはここを出ていく。
何しに？明日にしろよ。帰ってきたばっかだろ。
この町、ヨウム戦士団を抜ける。今夜俺に会ったことは忘れてくれないか。
Was he the one who spread the word, or did he hide it?
死んだということにしておいてくれ。頼む、トルケル。
What's his
話が
reaction?
見えねえよ。何言ってんだ突然。
決めたんだ。もう戦はしない。
だから話が見えねえって。まさか死にかけてビビったとか言わねえよな。兄貴はお前を後継者にって考えてんだぞ。
すまん。
疲れてんだろ。とりあえず今日はもう食って寝ろ。
俺は分かったんだ。本当の戦士とは何かが。だからもうここにはいられない。
Yeah, something he doesn't understand.
掟は知ってるな。狩猟の許しもなく抜けるやつは死刑だ。ここは戦士の都だ。戦しか能のねえお前がここを去ってどう行く？
ここではない。どこかだ。
トールズ。
大丈夫。下がってなさい。元気でな、トルケル。
お前、剣は？
いらん。
Yeah. He was so good.
時にはもうトールズたちは消えていた。
He was so good.
それから15年経って、今度こそトールズが死んだと知った。奴のことを15年間考えて、肉体の生き死には問題じゃねえと気がついた。
He wasn't afraid.
大切なのは魂、そのありかだ。奴の魂は遠くへ行った。俺にはまだわからない。俺にはまだ届かない。ここではないどこかへ。
He idolized him, right?
きっとそこで本当の戦士ってやつになったんだろう。トルフィン、奴はアイスランドでどんな風に過ごしていた？教えてくれ。
He would be disappointed.
俺は話してやったじゃねえか。
うるせえ、知るか。
はっ、ケチンボ。つうか、話さないんじゃなくて話せないだけなんだろ。目を見りゃわかるぜ。奴のあの不思議な輝きがね。
だと
トールズから何にも学ばなかったのがバレるのが恥ずかしいんだろ。いや待て。
話せ、てめえから殺すぞ。
普通にやれば間違いなく負けるぞ。ほれ見ろ。お前の勝敗は今や俺の生死だ。だから教えてやる。あの化け物の倒し方をな。
He has a plan.
倒し方知ってんならなんで勝負しなかった？
Because he doesn't have the
将
skill.
棋とは違うんだよ、坊主。大将を倒せば終わるってもんじゃねえ。だが今は違う。奴は勝てば逃がすと言った。野郎は誇りを重んじる。血統の誓いは守るだろう。
Mm-hmm.
お 目的を思い出せ。決闘で俺を倒すことだろう。今だけでいい。俺を参謀として認めろ。俺たち二人がこの場を生き延びるためだ。
It's like he's a basketball coach. He's like, dude, listen to me. I know you hate my guts, but
大将の決闘見たかったね。
俺も死ぬ時は大将との決闘で死にてえよ。バルハラで胸張れる。
あの人は桁が違う。きっと雷神トールの化身だぜ。大将がトール神ならクヌ当時はフレイヤ神か。女神じゃん。あれフレイヤの化身だ。
they'll have a surprise or two coming.
痛むかトルフィン。アシュラッドは諦めて降参すか。
These are powerful strikes.
なんだそのざま。最後まで誇りを持って戦え。トールズの名を汚す気か。くそか。今は耐えろトルフィン。奴の方から近づくように仕向ける。あれはモールドンの戦いだったが、激しい戦いだった。あのトルケルでさえ重傷を負ったぐらいだからな。一瞬、ほんの一瞬だが確かに見た。あの無敵のトルケルが崩れ落ちる瞬間を。うまいぞ。万策尽きたと奴に思わせるんだ。どうしたトルフィン。もう逃げ疲れたのか。がっかりだな。もう少し根性見せるかと思ったのによ。いい位置だ。よくやったトルフィン。終わりはあっけねえな。みっともね。逃げ回りやがって。そうだトルケル。とどめを刺しに来い。
This is the setup.
一瞬の隙。奴の弱点は
Holy shit. Hit to the head. It's where, of course, it's where Thor's actually hit him originally. So either Thor's knew the same weak point. Ooh, is he gouging his eye out?
あのガキを殺せ。くそ。死ね、小僧。やめろ、バカども。てめえら、よくも俺に恥をかかせてくれたな。大将。よくも俺の血統を怪我してくれたな。はあ、すげえとてめえ。戦士の誇りとは何だ。
恨んでくれていい。だがあのガキは殺す。俺を殺すなら殺せ。だがあんたは生きろ。あんたの他に誰がこの500人の獣どもをまとめられるって言うんだ。
そこまでだ。これ以上
There he is.
この戦で死ぬ者は犬死にだぞ。
そんな全滅なのか。あのアシェラットの軍団が。
兄じゃ。生きているのか。
おじさん、誰？兄
ちゃん。飽きもせず、よくもこれほどに殺し合うものだな。
王族だろうと決闘に水さす権利はねえ。引っ込んでな、お嬢さん。
もはや決闘の様相ではあるまい。そなたも一党の首領なら、誇りと潔さを示してみせるがいい。
うるせえ！んなことてめえに言われなくても分かってんだよ！
Alright. Alright. Get it out. Get it out, my dude.
トルフィンを離せ。この決闘は俺の負けだ。
大将は負けてね。俺たちが邪魔しただけだ。
黙れ、文句なども！俺の負けだ。ちった格好つけさせろ。
アスゲート。大将の命令通りにしろ。
That was weird. The way he stood up.
50年生きてきて今日ほど不愉快な日はねえぜ。酒！
おいハゲ、今のうちにずらかれぞ。
生きたきゃいけ。俺は残る。
は？俺が何のためにここまで？
黙って見てろ。で、何なんだおじさま。のこのこと喧嘩の仲裁に来たわけか。
ソリと食料を所望する。それとトルフィンとアシュラットは私の従手だ。連れて行くぞ。
パーかお前は。獲物を黙って逃がす漁師がいるか？
スベン王とまみえる際の切り札になる。そう考えているのか？
はいおじさま。あんたは餌で人質で金づるだ。
王子は諦めろ。よく書くんじゃね
え。いいから見てろ。
下がれゲロ。逃げはせぬ。
短い間にお口が一丁前になったじゃねえか。何があった？昨日寄った村にラグナルの死体があったぜ。
トルケルよ、私に人質の価値はない。なぜなら父は私を愛してなどいないからだ。父は王位を兄ハラルドに継がせる。私は兄の備えに過ぎぬ。だがそのことが臣下の者たちを争わせ、王国の元へを危うくさせ始めた。私の生存は父王にとって憂いのもとだ。
つまりスベン王は俺があんたを殺すことを
Or somebody else.
暗殺に比べれば戦死は温当だ。父王自身の手が小殺しに汚れぬ。
仮にこのまま見逃したとしてどこへ行く気だ？
ゲインズバラの軍団本営へ。父王と喧嘩だ。
勝てると思ってんのか？
すべきことをするだけだ。どうせ惜しむような命ではない。
He is so fucking huge. Holy fuck.
俺はな、命は惜しくないなんて抜かすやつは腐るほど見てきた。
But somehow he believes him, right?
軽くこづいただけで泣いて命乞いしやがる。
Or maybe he's testing him here.
てめえもその口だろう。あ？
And he yelled.
嫌な目だ。こういう目には見覚えがある。
Ooh, have you?
お前らはその目で何を見
He can't understand it. He can't.
なんだ？
Battle has been his life. What could be beyond that?
野郎ども、こんな俺でもな、たった一つ後悔してることがある。なぜあの時俺はトールズについていかなかったのかってな。あの時奴についてってれば本当の戦士の秘密を知ることができただろう。
It's always being a warrior, but why do you want to be one?
スベン王とやることに変わりはねえしな。
I'm just gonna stop for a second. I think that's very interesting, right? Because if we look at people and what they're repeating in their life, right, in terms of patterns of behavior and what they do, right, and what they do it for, we need to ask ourselves what basic desire is behind Thorkel's fascination with combat and glory. Even his attempt to maybe fight his own side in an attempt to support the underdogs, right? Because that is how he gets a good fight, right? A good challenge, how he can prove himself. I think though it's very tied to the Danish, back then, like Viking Danish idea of Valhalla and how being a true honorable warrior gets you there, right? I think I don't know enough about the myth and Valhalla in general, but for me, what little I know tells me that this place that is described is a place where warriors are honored, where their accomplishments are celebrated, where they can be in peace. The question is, what does he want from it? If he would really revel in battle alone, and battle was just there for battle's sake for him, I would assume that Valhalla isn't very promising to him, because Valhalla seems like a place where you can rest after battle, right? Where you can be lauded and applauded and can exchange stories about old battles with other people. But, like, it doesn't seem like this would be what he wanted if he wants to live in battle. So I guess what we need to ask is what basic desire is behind the myth of Valhalla, which I think is in a sense the desire for recognition, right? The desire to be I don't want to say respected, because respect is not really like, obviously that is a way to gain standing in the social hierarchy, but it's a life thing, right? And he's doing a lot of things that are very destructive. Obviously, like, our wishes and desires can be antithetical to what we're actually doing. We're pursuing something in a very destructive way, despite the destruction of ourselves, right? Us dying, supposedly, like in this case, meaning that we would lose that, right? But I think, like, in general, this is a self-worth thing, right? You grow up in a society where you learn from very early on that you're only worth something as a man if you're a warrior, and you're only worth something as a warrior if you challenge a lot of other strong warriors, and if you are the best and can beat anyone under even extremely bad odds. And I think, searching the absolute extreme of that, Thorkel decided to support the English because they were the underdogs, and find a way to be the best warrior in lieu of not being able to actually do that by fighting Thors anymore, because fighting Thors would have been his proof that this is the strongest man I've ever met, right? This is the strongest man alive, and I just beat him, so I am the strongest and achieved the most glory out of all of the warriors. And I think Valhalla itself might not be the final goal. Rather, Valhalla might be an instrument for what he actually seeks, which is recognition, which is connection to other people, which is a confirmation that he is worth something in life, right? A direction in life as well. That is what he's looking for, right? A goal to have, because there's no other goals to have. what strikes me very, very clear for Thorkel is he has a very bad, or he has a very underdeveloped ability to understand other people's thought processes. He does seem to be on one wavelength, very, very much so with everybody who thinks kind of like him. But he does seem to be not as good at mentalizing, which is our ability to understand that just because something is a certain way in our head and just because we feel a certain way about something doesn't mean that thing is actually true. Right? You see that a lot with people who have difficulty reading other people, like theory of mind, being able to understand what's going on in other people, that they use their own thoughts and their own feelings to draw conclusions about what reality actually is. And he is like, I think he's in the state where he's starting to look at these people and he feels that there's something that he is missing, but he doesn't understand it, and he's still seeking it in his way of trying to be a warrior, right? In his way of trying to understand everything through the language of the battlefield, while what he might be actually searching for and not really finding the way to, right? Finding the road to go there is looking past his own little world and understanding that there's other states of mind, that there's other things that are important in life rather than being a warrior, and that there's other ways to accomplish self-worth, to have a fulfilling life, to receive maybe care and attention and admiration. Yeah, just to there's other ways to have these basic desires of him met. But since this is the way he grew up, this is the only way he understands to actually have them met. Now, we don't know Thorkel's parents, so we don't know how he grew up. We can only judge from the Jorms Vikings way of life, and just like the way the Danish in general and their culture developed during that time. We can kind of guess that this is probably like things that that have been instilled in him since he was younger. One question we could be asking maybe down the line is, what differentiates somebody like Thors from somebody like Thorkel? Right? Where do we have to split where Thors, who clearly grew up similarly than Thorkel, who clearly had a similar life for a long time in terms of like being part of the Jorms Vikings, being a strong warrior, fighting in many wars. Where was that split? Was it in that battle that we saw in the very beginning, in the first episode, or maybe the first episode, or was it at some point earlier, right? With Helga, something around that. Maybe when he was holding, I forgot her name. Thorfinn's sister, Ylva, I think it was. Don't flame me if I'm wrong. Was it there when he was looking into his child's eyes? At some point in time, their experiences split, and Thors discovered a new life for himself, a new purpose. And that's what he considered being a true warrior. But the way he expressed it to Thorkel made it very hard for Thorkel, who only knew battle, to understand that what he actually meant was something different, something deeper, something beyond battle. But yeah, very interesting character, definitely.
よし、決めた。その喧嘩、助立ちしよう。はっ。俺はあんたについていくぜ。あんたがこれから何をして何者になっていくのか見届けてやる。
This might be the resolution Thorkel is looking for.
いいだろう。そなたは今日より私の重視だ。
And Astolat is like, yes. Of course it is amusing to him.
クヌート殿下。ラグナル殿を殺したのは私です。お切りしてください。ですが、
He won't, and he knew it.
生かしおきくださるというのであれば、お役に立ちます。この一命に変えても。
I betrayed you, but now I'm gonna be loyal. That is a gamble, Ocelot.
ラグナルの分の働け。それが弔いだ。
必ず。
Ocelot, you're gonna die one day. It's not gonna be now, but maybe it's gonna be later.
スベン王を玉座から引きずり下ろす。
なんだおめえ、マネックすんな。何がマネだ。家来になったのは俺の方が先なんだよ。まあとにかく仲良くやろうぜ。おめえの手下はあらかた殺しちゃったけど、水に流せやな。
He didn't care about them anyway.
どの道、水に流すしかねえだろうが。
I mean, not much. Maybe a little bit, but, you know. Thing is still alive, right? What do we call him? Bjorn. So Bjorn might have been the only person Ocelot actually cared about in the mercenary band, so. Bro, this OED is so fire. You're gonna make me proud. No, you're gonna make me drown. No, I don't wanna it. I don't wanna it. I don't wanna it. The full version is even better, by the way, so go check that out on YouTube if you find the chance. Go back. We talked a lot about it already. What I really love about this episode is really just well, we got the flashback in the beginning, but we have a strong red thread that is going through this entire episode, which starts with backstory, basically, right? We a little bit in the skirt of like the duel and whatnot, but it's almost over, right? Ocelot kind of preps him up. He's like, you gotta do that. But before that, we are actually telling a little bit more Thor's story, right? This is we are establishing not only more about Thor's, which is something Thorfinn has longed for a long time, because he did only know his father since he grew up in the village, but also we learn a lot more about Thorkel and where he is coming from, right? He has real feelings for other people. For example, Thor's, people he respected, people who were his brothers, basically. Well, almost literally, because like his brother was the king of the Jomsvikings, who was and his niece is basically Helga, so there's that. But he only understands loyalty and battle and whatnot. It's very interesting that Thor's you see like his bad ability to mentalize already here, when he's like not looking at the signs people are giving him. People are like, look Thorkel, can you just like listen to me? And we're trying this multiple times, but he's so caught in his own mindset of like, oh hey, right? Obviously he's happy because his friend and the guy he looks up to is alive, right? So there's like, first of all, the dream didn't die of beating him one day, but also like the loss is kind of just like gone over in euphoria. But he's so busy with himself and his own feelings that he's not really looking into other people, understanding what they mean and why they do it. And he gets angry because Thors is trying to explain to him, look, this is bigger than me. This is something like, I realized something. But he doesn't have that mindset yet. He doesn't understand. And something in these eyes, it irritates him. Because it is something he can't grasp. It is something he has such a... Right? Like, it's hard to see a man that you look up to. And you don't see him like washing up or something, right? Like getting worse or whatever. But you see him thriving, and you see him getting to a point where you can follow, right? Getting to a point that you don't understand where he's coming from. Is he going crazy? Is he betraying us? Or is this something genuine? Something that I can't grasp and don't know what it's about? And people often react with like things they don't understand. They react negatively to it. Be that with anger, with fear, with frustration. Because it doesn't make sense in their mind. Especially for somebody who's a warrior, been a warrior for so long. Also, I've found this this situation very, very badass, where it's like, he's like, I'ma go. I wish you all well. I wish you well. And he's like, where's your sword? And dude's like, I don't need a sword. He's not even doing this to diss him. He's just doing it to, I guess, prove the point. He's like, or maybe he's just like, matter of fact, he's like, I don't need a sword, dude. But it's also getting Thorkel riled up. Very interesting how he's breaking the axe at the exact right point. And as Thorkel is going in, we dodge. It's almost like a little bit like, that reminds me of like how Thorfinn fought against him in their first duel. I think maybe that's what Thorkel also saw in him. He was like, holy shit, this guy's coming at me like Thor's. Right. And we don't even see why, but later on he gets knocked in the head, and it's like, I wonder if that is what Asalat picked up. He was like, well, he got knocked in the head here. That's what Thorkel told us just now. And Asalat was like, look, Thorfinn, I got a plan. Look, you got to do this. Right? Catch him off guard. And he's like, Thorkel is still searching within the battlefield. He's like, there's some bigger truth to the battlefield. But what he doesn't realize is that Thor's truth was outside the battlefield. He's looking up like freedom. Like wherever he is, it's not here. What did he say here? What's important to a warrior is the soul and where it lies. Wherever it is, his soul had gone far away. I can't reach him. He's mourning the death of his, the death, but also the goodbye of a good friend of his, right? And he doesn't know how to deal with it. Because as much as like he doesn't understand the feelings of other people, he also doesn't understand his own. I mean, a little bit maybe, the basic ones. Anger, aggression, joy, right? But does he understand loss? I would be asking that. Does he understand loss? Does he understand a bigger dream, ideals? Does he understand things beyond? Because he doesn't have a partner, supposedly. We don't know about one. Right? Thor's did. I'm sure there's like enough like Vikings and whatever to have wives at home, but he doesn't. He doesn't have a kid. So there's the question. Are these the things, the life's experiences that still elude him? And if you told him to his face right now that those are the ones, he would laugh in your face and be like, don't be silly. He doesn't understand that. He needs to go deep inside himself. And I think maybe, yeah. We'll skip that for a second. Maybe Canute can do that for him. Because as much as Canute just made a face turn and like went to hard-ass leader who has a dream and wants to establish a paradise because he realized some fundamental truth about the the cruel world we live in, right? Hashtag Attack on Titan. He's still the same person. He's still got that empathy in him. He's still got that, the softer side. Now, obviously, you can have you can have moments in your life where you're starting to quell that and cut that out of yourself. But I don't think that's that moment for Canute. Canute just realized that he was maybe going about this whole thing the wrong way. And he realized the man he wants to be, so he can achieve the things he wants to achieve. A paradise on earth, beyond the war and suffering and battle. Because he's coming in here and he's like, I can't believe that you're still fighting. That you can't, you don't grow tired of this shit. Basically. And I'm with him here. I'm with him, alright? He's 100% right here. But he's using that energy, he's channeling it. He's like, you all follow me. We're gonna fight my father. I guess this is first of all, the thing his father definitely didn't want. But also the thing he needed. The question is, would it have happened without the death of Ragnar? And all of this stuff happening? Doesn't justify what Asalad is doing, right? And I think he has his punishment coming. Asalad, when all of this is over, all the way at the back, Asalad's gonna get his due. Be that from Thorfinn, be that from Canute, be that from another unrelated source. Karma is coming back for him, right? It's coming for his ass. But before that, he might accomplish what he wants to. He might achieve what he needs or wants to achieve, which I'm still not pretty clear about, but it's clear that he has a lot of animosity towards King Sweyn and the current Danish. The current Danish. And he wants to realize that through another Danish person. Right? Get him to be a leader and fight against them. And that's why he laughs later. He's this irony that there's something he saw in Canute. And he was right. So he's still got some soft expression in Canute. But him holding here, I think it's not entirely that Canute is not afraid to die. I think, he has a lot of conviction. And I think at this point, now that he set his goal on this plan that he has, he's definitely going to be less afraid, right? Because all of his pain and suffering, if he doesn't die, will lead him to accomplish something. And if he dies, then he died trying and standing up, right? That is something that gives you a lot of power and inner strength. But also, I do think that Canute very well knew in that moment that this was a test. And he's smart. So he's like, I don't flinch. I know he's not going to kill me. Because otherwise he would have killed me already. And he's like, I hate that look in his eyes. I've seen it before. In Thor's. And the answer to that is, it's something I don't understand. And that's why I hate it. Why didn't I go with Thor's? I might have discovered some grand truth. Something that eludes me in life. And that's why I'll join you. Crazy shit. Crazy shit. Love the animation, of course, right? I mean, these fights are really great, right? Every fight between Thorkel and Thorfinn, especially because they're so complementary, right? Thorkel is this huge dude. Yes, he's not super slow, but he's like, woof, woof, woof. And Thorfinn is like a snake. He's everywhere at the same time. He's quick. He's nimble. For Thorkel, it's he hits somebody one time, they could be out. For Thorfinn, it's cut through 1,000 death through 1,000 cuts. he gets in there, he doesn't get hit, he's like right, and he's seen it once. I get, okay, like, this was my guess earlier, but I was wrong, right? Like, he didn't guess it from the story, he guessed it from him actually seeing it live, right? That he has a weak point here, somewhere on his skull, maybe like a previous wound maybe as well, where he goes unconscious for a short period. And this is where he got it from. And maybe like the story Thorkel like talked about earlier with Thors and whatnot, it kind of reconfirmed his suspicion. Just the previous, he nearly maimed Thorkel for one. Yeah. Collapsing to his knees. Boom. Right? If you get one, like, maybe there's like a... I don't know. I mean, it could also just not be him going unconscious, but him losing his balance. Because the temporal lobe, and especially also the crystals that we have in our ear, are responsible for us having balance. So that might be a thing as well. But it might also just be like a hard hit to the head for him at a specific place that is kind of damaged maybe, or his skull didn't heal correctly. It can be very devastating maybe for him. And that's why it's his weak point. And we got that coming, right? Going up before you can react, there's like the hit coming in. Really cool how we like play with the space as he's going up, like basically climbing up that mountain that is Thorkel. And we hit right there, which is probably assumedly where Thor's hit as well. And him just being like, oof. Boom. And obviously, like, oh yeah, he is unconscious. And obviously, like, he's going absolutely batshit. He's like maiming his eye. I wonder if his eye is still usable, or if he has like a complete like eye patch now and can't see on one eye. Because this could be like devastating for him as well, right? Losing one eye means for him like losing your depth perception, which is very important in war. Looks even more crazy now. Alright. Yeah, that was Vinland Saga episode 19. I hope you enjoyed this one. I enjoyed it a lot. It was a really, really cool episode. We were moving along, right? We're gaining followers. We're having a goal now. We know it for sure that he's fighting against his father now. If you liked this episode, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and all of that cool jazz. I have a lot more series that you can watch there. Some of them might be blocked here and there because copyright. I'm normally trying my best to kind of just like unblock them, but if there's something that's blocked for copyright, it's very much possible that you'll find it on my Patreon. So if you subscribe to my Patreon, maybe you kind of like watch it, right? Like that's a thing as well. Especially like the newer series I've been watching, I've been putting on Patreon directly as well. So the older ones are like pip links and whatever through like Pixel Drain and BitChute and whatnot. So go check that out if you're interested in that. Other than that, I do hope you're coming back for more. I will definitely be here and be reacting to this series because I really like it. It's a really, really great series. See you next time. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Vinland Saga. Today we are jumping right into episode 20 of this amazing show. I'm really excited to see what Thorkel, Asalat, and Canute are going to do, and also what's up with Thorfinn on the side, because I don't know, we didn't have massive Thorfinn developments. Obviously, last time we found out a little bit more about Thors, but it was more about Thorkel than it was about Thors, actually. It contextualized some things about Thors as well, of course, but other than that, I think the main thing was Thorkel and Canute, and the connection that the two of them made, and the new direction we might be going in now. So let's jump right into this episode, shall we? Vinland Saga episode 20 starts in a 3, a 2, a 1. Let's go. January 114, Northeast England, Gainsborough outskirts.
は考えられん。
しかしフローキ様、
Looking,
ダ
huh?
ービーからの報告では
左翼が薄いぞ。兵500とて侮るな。相手はトルケル軍だ。
フローキ様、報告が事実ならばこのナザリオは大変不敬な。
We're still maybe.
クヌート殿下がトルケルを従えて生還するなど決してありえぬ。
Okay, so we have. Well, there you go, buddy.
ようフローキ、やる気か。相手になるぜ。
控えよトルケル。私が帰還する旨、数日前に使者を送ったはずだぞフローキ。
So he did.
槍を持って出迎えるのが貴様の霊か。
いや、そのようなことは決して。アセラット、なぜ貴様が。
耳が聞こえぬのか貴様。貴様はデンマーク王家に対し弓を引く気かと聞いた。
Oh, he is playing this really well.
我が用の戦士団は敵軍襲来との誤報を受けまして、申し訳ありません。
Wonder why he isn't surprised that
夕刻までに
Knut is like this.
報告しておけ。正確にな。
一体何が。まるで別人ではないか。
Oh, now he is like, oh, he's different. That took him aback though, right? He's like, he didn't expect him to be so demanding. Who are you? Oh wait, I forgot that Björn actually died in that last moment. My bad. I said that wrong last time. Right. We are in the Danish base.
歩きながら聞け。今はまだ仕掛けてはならぬ。私の味方はこの軍中に少ない。ただ手向かえば反逆者となろう。手回しの時間がいる。トルケル、そなたは一度裏切ったが、今も戦士たちに人気がある。各部族の首領たちと交わり、関係を修復しておけ。
つまりあれかい、あんたのおごりでジャカジャカ酒飲むってこと。
他の首領を誘ってたぞ。行け。
素晴らしい命令だ。
Like
あんたについてきて正解だったぜ。行くぞ。
He's like, let's drink.
私と共に王のところだ。そなたの人物評を聞きたい。
は
それと今後だ。いかにことを運ぶ。
はあ、短期的には暗殺がよろしいかと。兄王子ハラルド殿下は遠くデンマークにいらっしゃいます。これは好機です。今王陛下が崩御されればイングランド方面軍の最高指揮官はあなた様ということに。この場合首謀者を偽装する必要がありますが。
Who's gonna take the fall for that?
トルフィン、今後は護衛以外にも働いてもらうことになるだろう。頼むぞ。
命令すんな。俺はあんたの手下になった覚えはね。
ご無礼をお許しください。このバカ屋は私から指図しておきます。
神はこうしている今も我々を見ていらっしゃるのだろうな。友を失い、親と子が殺し合う。そんな様のすべてを天空の高みから見下ろしておられるのだろう。
What a cruel god.
許せぬ。私はこの地上に楽土を作るぞ。平和で豊かな生きることに苦しむ者たちの理想郷を。私の代では成し得ぬかもしれぬ。それでも最初の一歩を私が踏み出すのだ。神はきっと私を目で身元へ召そうとするだろう。だがその時私はこう言うのだ。 もはや天の国も試練もいらぬ。我々の楽土は地上にある。とな。
A rejection of his faith.
我々が失ったものを取り戻すのだ。そのためには鬼にもなろう。
Oh, alright, Snake.
お手伝いいたします。
I didn't know your game. By the way, I do apologize for sometimes just adjusting the camera.
よくぞ戻った。嬉しいぞ、クヌート。
ありがたきお言葉。陛下よりお預かりした兵を失ってしまった。負傷の身に余ります。
地高をよれ。
This guy is so old, he's falling apart.
どうだ、トルフィン。
いるな。20人ってところか。高いところにもだ。弓兵だな。
殿下、副兵です。どうやら王陛下はこちらの腹をお察しのようですな。どうした？はよ寄らぬか。
そなたたち、何があっても剣を抜いてはならんぞ。先に抜いた方の負けだ。これはそういう喧嘩だ。
暗さに目が慣れてきた。
Heavy steps.
もう少し近づけば王の顔がわかる。顔を見れば。止まれ。そこでよい。ひざまずけ。疲れた目だ。これがデエンジンの王か。
He's disappointed.
ラグナルはどうした？姿が見えぬが。
死にました。マーシアの地にて。
そうか、それは惜しいな。あれは誠の中心であった。本来なら趣向をもって帰還を祝うべきだが、一度そなたとは形式抜きで話をしたいと思うておった。クヌートのみ立て、10歩前へ進め。
Everything is measured. 10 paces.
ほんのわずかの間に顔が変わったな。世の若き日に似ておる。
されば我が心の内もお分かりでございましょう。
困った子だ。そのようなところまで嫌に似るとは。
子は親のなしを見て育つのです。よもやお責めになりますまいな。
かつて若き日、世は父である洗脳を国外へ追い放ち、この王冠を奪った。それが王国のために良きことと信じたからだ。洗脳は性残忍にして臆病者だった。そのようなものが王冠をいただいては世が乱れる。
こんだけの護衛に囲まれて何言ってやがる。
黙れ、聞こえるぞ。腹毛を使う気はねえってが、殿下よ。敵の巣の中にいるってことを忘れなさんなよ。良きことをなした。良きことをなせると思うておった。これをかぶるまではな。
And it changed you?
意志があるのだ。この王冠にはな。 かぶれば千の船、万の兵を統率できる。音国のあらゆる宝を取り寄せることができる。神々がごとき力が身に宿る。だがクヌートよ、力を使うのは王ではない。王冠の意志が使うのだ。
So you're putting the blame away from yourself.
陛下に命じたというのですか。私を殺せと。
王冠が王に命じるのはただ二つ。力を使うことと力を増やすことだ。
To use power and to gain power.
無駄なことよ。王冠はそなたを欲してはおらぬ。
Alright. So what are we gonna do? Is he... I mean, if he wanted to kill him, he would have already done so.
クヌート、そなたにコーンウォールの一部をやろう。そこで聖書でも読みながら平穏の日々を送るがよい。嫌だと申すならこの場で死ぬがよい。
そのお言葉も王冠が言わせているのですか、陛下。
陛下、恐れながら発言をお許しください。名乗れ。クヌート様の重視、オラフの子アシェラッドと申します。失礼ながら果たしてこのご沙汰は王冠の意志にかないましょうや。続けよ。王子殿下はロンドンよりトルケルという戦力を奪い取りました。陛下がイングランド王にご即位なされれば、かの町には幸福よりほか道はありません。ロンドンの富は無傷のまま陛下のものとなります。多大なる犠牲を払い、この戦果をもたらしたるはクヌート殿下に他なりません。功労ある者が罰せられる道理がありましょうか。このご沙汰、新たな領地の割譲において各将軍に動揺を与えます。何とぞご再考を。
Alright.
口の回る男だ。
He's cooking.
アシェラッド、灰まみれか。それはあだ名であろう。貴様の父が授けた名を申せ。ただアシェラッドと、父は私に名を与えませんでした。妾の子か。いや、奴隷に産ませた子かの。
Calm down, my dude.
なんだ、アシュラットがここまで怒るなんて。
クヌート、良い重視を持っておるな。そやつの申す通りだ。そなたたちには褒美をやらねばならんな。世は明日ヨークに立つ。かの地にて宴席を設ける。褒美はそこで授けよう。
What is going on inside the king? I don't know him enough to actually say anything about it. What his game is and why Aselat actually convinced him.
肝を冷やしましたぞ、殿下。
何を慌てることがある。そなたの察する通り、王には今、私を殺すだけの大義名分がない。剣王と呼ばれたいお方なのだ。こちらさえ軽挙であれば、王の内懐はむしろ安全だろ
う。ではなおのこと、先ほどのような挑発はお控えください。
何のことはない。スベン王は王冠の奴隷というわけだ。
Ooh. We come back to the metaphor.
王冠の力。 私が使いこなしてみせようぞ。
アシェランドか。少々警戒せねばならんな。
Indeed. He's right there.
じゃんじゃんやってくれ。全部クヌート殿下のおごりだぜ。
殿下万歳。
おい、さっきからガムガムガムガム飲みやがって。誰だおめえは。坊主なんざ招いた覚えねえぞ。
私はビリバルドです。お忘れですか。
は
あのヒゲの赤いな。いくつだよ。
23です。
嘘だろ。20代前半。
Holy shit, 23? What the fuck, dude? I thought he was in his 30s.
不思議な男だ。好き放題に生きながら周りの者に憎まれぬ。で、どうだ。やれそうか、あの王。
難しいと言わざるを得ませんな。
I wouldn't have expected it otherwise.
頭の良いお方とお見受けしました。洞察力と先手を打つ行動力をお持ちです。我々が脅しに屈さぬと見るや次の手に転ずるあたり、戦上手とも申せましょう。さすがは一国の王といったところでしょうか。手強いですぜ。
But his eyes look tired, he said.
ま、当分は王陛下の隙を伺いつつ、標準の手で行きましょう。
殿下、殿下。
おう、
無事のご帰還お喜び申し上げます。この軍なるどれほどに心配したことか。ご入場にお出迎えもせず申し訳ございません。
Alright,
たった今異国より帰ってまいったもの
move
で
off,
すから。
clown.
もちろんきっとのご生還信じておりましたぞ。おや、こちらの御人は新しい重視殿でございますか。ご紹介いただけますかな。
ラグナルの弟、グンナルだ。見知りおけ。
ウォラフの子、アシェラッドと申します。
Interesting.
おお、なんとも頼もしい風格ですな。グンナルと申す。ところで殿下、かねてよりの計画、めどが立ち申したノルマンディー公国です。その件について兄も交えて後ほど。
ラグナルは死んだ。
は？
私のためにすまぬことをしたな。それから亡命はせぬ。
殿下、
そなたが諸国を奔走してくれていたことは大義であった。先ほどスベン王には喧嘩を売ってきた。そなたも力を貸せ。
兄じゃが。
グンナル。
あ？
そなたの仕事は王の監視と報告だ。使う兵は信用できるものを選べ。
殿下、そのような話をこんなところで。
構わぬ。むしろこの場は密談に良い。
殿下、お変わりになられた。
He has.
変わるさ。すべてを変えてゆかねばならぬ。
He sees that as necessary, right? It doesn't hurt him being told that.
あの軍なるってのはいかんな。口ほど天下への忠心があるとも思えし。
I mean, he seemed very fake. Go off Thorfinn, I guess.
おお、予習復習に余念のないことで。右腕痛くないのかね。
アシュラット。
え？
What are you fucking morons doing here?
国に帰るか。
あんたは気にしねえと言ってくれたけど、やっぱ俺たちは裏切り者だし、なんつうか、この先どの面してあやいいのか。
いったやーい、当たった。
なんか、兄じゃもあんなになっちまったし。
Bro just
治るといいな。
Bro just had post-Thorkel amnesia.
キングかよ。 よくもまあこんな真人間が俺の手下になったもんだぜ。ビョルンは長く持たねえよ。傷が腹渡まで達してる。これでも
Oh, so he's still
昔から
alive.
の手下はトルフィンだけってことになるな。再出発にはちょうどいい。
腕は
金だ、持ってけ。
いらねえよ。もらう理由がねえ。
いいから受け取れ。ロギンが多くて困ることはねえだろうが。
すまねえ。じゃあありがたく。あれなんだよ。くれんのかくれねえのかどっちだよ。
条件がある。
え、
二度と剣を握るな。お前には
Hmm.
似合わねえアトリ。羊を飼い、嫁をもらってガキをこさえてベッドで死ね。これから先おめえを戦場で見かけた時は味方でも切るぞ。
ああ、わかった。
That's sobering, but it might be better for him, not gonna lie. So he does care a little bit. A little bit. Asalat is such a weird guy, like so many contradictions. And Leif is in York. Still looking. I wonder when we will cross paths. One thing I did really like about this episode is we had very great set pieces and lighting. Well, first them walking in and Loki just being like, "What the fuck? What the fuck is happening?" But everybody kind of notices that Canute changed, that the way he approaches things, right? Everybody's reaction is like, "Who is this guy?" Meantime, he's already scheming. You can see he is intelligent, right? The issue all of this time was like, well, I mean, it's hard to say, right? Because there's a lot of elements to this, but I think like one of the issues was definitely that Canute didn't have a clear goal in mind, and that he was still hanging on to that role that was kind of attributed to him thanks to Ragnar as well. Ragnar protecting him as long as he did actually most of the time did him very good, right? And kept him out of harm's way. But the problem is he arrived at a point where he probably wouldn't have been able to continue with Ragnar. And when he died, the pain that he experienced there, in addition to all of the chaos happening around him and people actively trying to kidnap him, right? A lot of aggression and war happening around him. And him trying to kind of just also doubt his fate, right? With all of the stuff that happened with Aselat. They murdered this entire village and whatnot. And there was so much. And that click moment that he had where he was like, after all this shit I've seen, right? All the faith in the world can't let me believe that, like, I mean, or let me believe that this is just, or that this is okay and how it's supposed to be. So God doesn't want to give us paradise, we're just going to create it ourselves. And that's when he set out for his mission. And at that point, all of the knowledge that he learned, obviously at the court, all of the knowledge that Ragnar gave him, all of the intelligent thought that went into every one of his, like, more feminine, more also more just artsy and empathetic side went to a single goal. And to fulfill that goal, sometimes you gotta just face the adversity, right? You gotta not flinch. You gotta be able to hold it together. And I'm sure on the inside, again, he is still somewhat of the same person. He has the same sensibilities. He does want for the people to have less conflict, for there to be less war, for there to be peace, a utopia as he says it, right? A world in which there is not as much suffering. But to create that, I think he has resolved himself to stand suffering of his own person and suffering of the people around him, or maybe even having to kill certain people in order to reach his goal. And people can feel that because he's resolute in what he does. Now, sometimes, like high stress, he might break at some point in between. But the question is, will he have the right people around him to prop him up again? That can be Aselat. That can be Thorfinn at some point when Thorfinn got his own shit together. I don't think it can be Thorkel, because Thorkel can probably just physically be there and like, I don't mean like that, okay? I don't mean like that. No, but like he can probably just protect him as a bodyguard, or lead his armies as a general. I think Aselat can do that. Nice shading that we're using as well. That's kind of like almost trademark wit shading. Just look at God and being like, yeah, no, let's not. Yeah, the way he looks here, there's a lot of hate in there. There's a lot of like disappointment with his own, like with the God of his own fate. It's like, this is my morals and you are actively hurting it, or at best you're hypocritical, right? Like God is hypocritical, basically. All of that suffering. A utopia for those who live in suffering. Yeah. A king for the wretched, to lift them up from the ground. I will say to him. Sorry. Gotta speed it up a bit. We no longer need heaven or your trials. We have our paradise on earth, right? A rejection of his faith. Almost like, I mean, in a way, metaphorically, he is putting himself, or he wants to put himself in place of God. He's like, we don't need you anymore. Because a God who abandons his people. What? Right, or a father who abandons his children, right? If you want to like be metaphorical. What good is it? I mean, I don't want to slight any religion, okay? This is his train of thought, okay? Like, I understand why people believe, why people have faith. There's a lot of beauty in the world, but this is his unique perspective in this moment. All the cruelty he saw, all of the people who are suffering, and he's like, I can't accept that as something that is being sanctioned by this Father of us in heaven. So if that's how it really is, and he's looking the reality, right? He's looking at reality, and he's like, this is how it is. The only thing I can do is reject that idea and be like, if you won't do it, I will create that utopia. I love how we're playing with the lighting, right? The way it's all dark and in deep red, right? This is like a threat. There's like, our lives are in danger. There's a weird feeling, right? Come closer. And then we're like, yeah, there is people. 20, I'd say. And Thorfinn has a good feeling for stuff like that. In the dark. We know we're walking into a trap, but he takes that step. He who draws first loses. Sorry. He who draws first loses. And that's what we see later on as well. Maybe Canute was testing his father as well when he was provoking him. He was looking like he knew that his father didn't have grounds to do so. So he was provoking him and see if his father would attack. If there would be the person who draws first without a reason in that case, right? And that would make him look unwise and weak. Love how we're going like full center on his face in this one. Asalot's coming closer and he's like opening his eyes at the king and he's like, he looks tired. His eyes are tired. Right? Like he's in his own head. And his first opinion is like, that's the king of the Danes. I'm disappointed. Right? That's this like shadowy figure that is overtowering everything in my life because like the history with his mother and whatever. Canute snapping him out of it. We have a little talk, right? Back and forth. And he's seeing that there's the glint in his eye and that Canute changed. And that's threatening to him, right? Before it was threatening too, because he was like, I gotta get rid of this like weak son of mine, right? To make sure. And now he's like, well, I gotta get rid of this shrewd and potentially strong son of mine. I think it's interesting. First of all, Asalot's face shading like this. You won't bother to hide your ambitions, Your Highness. He's like, ah, shit, right? Like, we need to play this clever. Face half in shadow, half in light, which is super great from like a... Just like with both sides are scheming, and we do see that here. We stand in a den of foxes. The OP shot with looking through the crown, and the king is like, you don't know how it is to have that power. The power, that you don't control the power controls you. Like he's trying to externalize all of the things he's done. He's like, I'm just doing this because this is what it compels me to do. He's trying to justify himself and also say, well, when you're in this situation, or if you were in this situation, you would be the same. Almost like he's like soothing himself, almost like he's lying to himself. He's like, it's fine. Every man that would stand in my position would act like this because the crown, it has a will on its own. It is, right? It's not that easy to do the right thing for your people. Well, sometimes it is, my dude. Sometimes it is. And you still don't do it. You gotta ask yourself what that means for you. I mean, it's not completely your fault, probably, because you probably grew up that way, but I mean, your father was cruel, cold-hearted, you said, bad for the realm, and then you took the crown from him. What do you do when you are in that position and you live through experiences like that, and now you are the guy calling the shots, and you're also kind of greedy and power-hungry and maybe cold-hearted to sending your son Canute to potentially die? Well, you expect anybody who comes your way to actually do the same. You're projecting onto other people what you yourself would be doing. Well, this is my son. He would probably assassinate or kill me in some way to get... I mean, he is in this case, but that's like his own actions leading to that. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? First of all, he in his actions leads Canute to get to the conclusion that he needs to kill his father, and then he's like, well, you want to kill me, I always knew it. Like, in his head, right? The crown's own will. Again, blood red. He is so decrepit. Are these words of the crown, your majesty? Are those the words of the crown? If you refuse, you will die here. But they're not. That's why he's provoking. He's like, those are not the words of the crown. You don't have legitimacy to kill me here. And everybody who will witness that in that moment, they won't be as loyal to the king anymore. And Asalot plays the game. He offers the king an olive branch. My interpretation, of course, but he's like, look, I'm gonna use my words and frame it the way that you can get out of this without having to, or without killing your son, because you don't have legitimacy, but also without backing down. And the king is interesting. It's like he's like a snake, right? He's like lashing out to everybody. When he says to Asalot, he's like, child of a slave, like derogatory, putting him down. And this is Aselad's trigger word. And even Thorfinn's like, holy shit, I've never felt this anger from Aselad. But Aselad stood the test. He understood that he was being provoked. And he understood that all he had to do is not react. But yeah, I didn't know enough about the king to know what his game here is, but it makes sense, yeah. It makes sense that he doesn't have the justification and he's looking for a way, in this case, not to do it. Obviously, if Canute would have drawn his sword, even if it was in self-defense, this would have been a done deal, because then he would have had the excuse to strike him down, because you don't draw the sword in front of the king. That would be tantamount to trying to assassinate him. You can spin a tale out of that. But Swain is aware now that Aselad is a clever dude, somebody to watch out for. We got some drinking with the father taking the lead. I'm sorry, but I immediately knew it was him, because I was like, this guy's drinking like crazy and he's a monk and he's blonde, so it's him. I was like confused. I'm like, okay, didn't he have a beard? But yeah, I mean, obviously, he just got shaved. But I didn't think he was 23. What the fuck? Oh, cool. How they like sit next to each other, and Aselad is like almost like literally the right-hand man. Wonder what Canute is feeling on the inside regarding Aselad. Because he knows he's very clever and he might need him to actually fulfill his goal, but is there some thought in the back of his mind of being like, well, if all of that is done, Aselad will pay for killing Ragnar? This is like Ragnar's brother, to which I have to say, first of all, the egghead seems to run in the family. The second thing I have to say is, like, this dude is fake as fuck, the way he comes across. But he's supposed to be, right? Like, he's supposed to be immediately identifiable as being this, like this bootlicker, basically. Even his reaction. I mean, to be fair, getting to know that your brother is dead, all casual, like in this setting, kind of gotta hurt, right? Kind of gotta like have a weird aftertaste in your mouth, doesn't it? That you're like, your prince is just like, yeah, whatever, right? Ragnar's dead. It's like no empathy, seemingly. Ouch. Canute, please. Like, I mean, it's fine, this guy is a snake, but like, come on. Like, if you lose all of your empathy with people, might be bad too. So I wonder what role he has to play there. Yeah. And then we have, what was his name? Attil, Atlen, whatever. Atli. Alright, Atli. Like, dude, live a normal life, dude. Like, the way you acted before, they're like, don't draw your fucking sword again. Okay? You're not made for it. Because, like, they bailed. And then we have the cliffhanger. Leif is looking. Maybe you'll find Thorfinn next time. I don't know. Well, we're close to York, so potentially. I mean, the king is in York at the very least. Yeah. Great episode. I think I'm going to jump into the next one. I don't know how analytical I can be at the end of it, but we'll see. Alright, we'll just see. 21 sounds good to me. Oh, we're starting with the OP. Holy. That is one of the first ones where we're starting just straight with the OP. But let's get it started. Vinland Saga, episode 21 starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. I'm gonna be heavily disappointed if this series doesn't end with them going to Vinland. This is definitely Asalat song, right? Like the OP. It feels very Asalat coded. I'm the one who makes my final call.
1014年現在、ヨークはスベンを率いるデンマークバイキングの支配下にあった。そしてこの地を起点に多くの奴隷がヨーロッパ全土に供給され、バイキングたちはその商人としての役割も担っていた。
They did.
とっつぁんの気持ちもわかるけどよ。俺たちはお情けで奴隷を解放できるほど金持ちでもないんだぜ。
Oh, Leif.
もう11年も経ってるんだ。そろそろ潮時なんじゃないか。
I ain't gonna give up.
あの時、ゴールドがなければ、わしらは無事では済まなかった。恩には報いねばならん。
Yeah, I mean he's honorable like that.
なんだ。
おいこら、そこの汚い貨物船どかんか。はいよせんか。先頭の船がもう。
Alright, who's pulling up?
はいよどけ。この桟橋にはたっとい方々の船がずらっと並ぶんじゃ。
あったよ。
Oh, we're arriving, okay. I wonder if they will nearly miss each other if they will see him.
ローマの時代から栄えている古い町です。北欧イングランド、双方の人と物がここに集まります。
York.
王陛下はここに新王朝の拠点を構えるおつもりなのでしょう。良い選択です。私でもそうします。
What, not Londinium?
尊い方々だ。迷惑な連中だぜ、くさ。おいとっつぁん、船尾の方やってくれ。
Did he spot him?
あの男。
Oh yeah, he spotted Asalat.
間違いない。あの顔を忘れるものか。アシェラット。トールズを殺したあの海賊だ。
で、どうする？王は明日の宴席で仕掛けてくるぞ。
さーて、それなんですがね。明日の午前会議、我々が後手に回るのは明白でしょう。例えば殿下とトルケル殿にそれぞれ別の領地を与え、それは褒美であり命令でもある。逆らえばクヌート王子に範囲ありとなります。煮るも焼くも陛下次第なんですよ。
トルケルを奪われるのは困るな。
で、困っちゃいますね。
では、座して待つだけか。
いかがでしょう。この辺りで世間様に何もかもばらしてみるというのは。
But how?
クヌート殿下、今あなたがここで死ぬってことですよ。
Asalat gets something planned.
撃たれたぞ。王子殿下が撃たれた。ちくしょう、どっから撃ちやがった。北岸からだ。探せ。こっち側。マジかよ。
ちょろい仕事だぜ。なんかやばいことになってんぞ。こりゃ関わり合いにならねえ。おい、とっつぁんどこへ。あいつだ、あいつがいた。
Oh.
なんじゃおい。あんた大丈夫か。血が出てるぞ。
Leif's gonna have a heart attack.
そこの貴様ら何の騒ぎだ。さては貴様ら狙撃の犯人だな。
こいつだ。俺じゃねえ。凶器もある。
なんだこりゃ。弓なのか。
凶器ってそれ。貴様も仲間か。いや、わしはごまかそうったってそうはいけん。どうせ仲間に全部罪をかぶせて自分は助かろうって腹なんじゃろ。
俺じゃねえっつってんだろ。
いや、目を見りゃわかる。
I can tell you from your eyes, okay.
どっからどう見てもアクトゥーの連れで。抵抗するか貴様。待て。ナイフ使いでチビで若くて、もしかしてあんた
Is he known?
カルルセブに。
トルフィン。
カルルセブに。
誰だって。
バカ知らないのか。ノッポのトルケルにナイフ2本で挑んで勝った男だよ。
嘘。だったらやばくね。こいつ殿下の家来だぜ。マジか。
ちょっとすいません。君、もしかして出身はアイスランドじゃないかね。名はトールズの子トルフィン。
Oh, he recognizes him.
レイフのおっちゃん。
Orphan has no idea what to do.
どけ揺らすなバカ。どこをやられた。胸だやばいぞ。お気を確かに。殿下、お召し物を切りますぞ。そうじゃないかなとは思ってた
It wasn't
け
him.
ど。
Oh, I mean, okay, they're stupid. They're stupid.
バカ者。私はここだ。
やっぱり。
なぜ女なのだ。
男の奴隷ではお姿に似たものが手に入りませんでしたので。
助かりそうか。
いえ、場所が場所ですし、もし矢に毒が塗ってあるならおそらくはもう。
すまぬことをしたな。そのものをいたわって使わせ、できる限りのことを施すのだぞ。
はい。
しかしまあ日頃の用心が奏功しましたな、殿下。どうやらこのヨークにはあなた様にあだ名さんとする者が潜みおるようですぞ。
そうか。
Okay, I got it.
ああ、野郎は必ず俺が殺す。この父上の探検でな。
ボロボロじゃないか。幼い子供が戦場を生き延びて地獄を見てきたに違いない。いや、ダメだ。この子を救うにはこれまでの11年間を否定しなければ。
レイフさん、ヴィンランドは今どうなってる？父上が行きたがっていた。俺も時々夢に見るんだ。もう村の一つも作ったかい？
なぜ残してきた母と姉のことを聞かんのだ。お前がいなくなってからヘルガの具合は一層悪くなった。顔を見せてやれ、トルフィン。ヘルガにはそれが薬だ。
俺はヴィンランドのことを聞いてんだよ。聞いてもねえことをペラペラと。
おい、こら、どこへ行く？トルフィン。国へ帰ろう、トルフィン。もう十分だろう。一緒に帰ろう。
He is not. He hasn't done anything.
あんたに何がわかる？あの の日から今日までの俺の何を知ってるってんだ。
I mean, he was there, but I mean,
アシェラットが野郎が生きて飯を食い腐されてる間は十分じゃねえ、十分じゃね
え。なんということか。
you can't get through
あの
to
陽気だった
somebody so hell-bent on revenge. He needs a lot of time for that healing to happen, and it hasn't even started.
前の気が変わるまでわしはこの町にいるぞ。ドルフィン、クリへ帰ろう。
He can't think of home because then he would lose his vengeance, right?
酒だ。
悪いな。
いい部屋じゃねえか、ビョルン。羨ましいぜ。
命がけの報酬にしちゃ狭い部屋だ。
そういや、アトリのやつがな、お前に詫び入れたいって言ってたぜ。
戦場での切った切られたは恨みっこなしだ。ぐじぐじ根に持つのはトルフィンだけだ。いいから行けよ。悪巧みの時間なんだろ。
ああ、またな。
アシャド。お前、足の具合はどうだ？
しこたま矢を食らったからな。
Hmm.
だが、まあ、ちっとぐれ剣を使うのに触りはねえ。
そうか。なら明日。
わかった。明日。
I mean, he said he won't last long, so...
出し抜かれたな、不老記よ。
申し訳ございません。
アシェラットか。やりおるな。この町に呪いをかけおったわ。
王子様が殺されたって？
違うよ、影武者だったんだ。
物騒だね。
これじゃあ夜もおちおち寝られやしないよ。
people are talking very quickly.
暗殺者がなんで王子様を狙ったのかってことだよ。
Now people could start thinking.
偉い人なんだし、命ぐらい狙われるだろうよ。
でもよ、この町にはスベン陛下がいるんだぜ。的にかけんならそっちだろ。
ああ、確かにな。
それにお世継ぎは2人おられる。
Mhm.
だって
わざわざ次男の方を狙うってこと
あんたら、それについちゃちょっと面白い話。
Oh, and now we start spreading the info.
あくまで噂程度の話なんだがね。
噂程度の話。そのくらいがちょうどいい。確たる証拠は突きつけず、
Great imagery.
余裕を残してやる方がいい。暗殺者を雇ったのはおめえか。自作自演じゃねえか。なかなかの演出だったろ。ただ、噂を流すだけじゃダメだ。
So he did order it himself. I was wondering if he was waiting for somebody to do it or if he actually arranged it.
デンマーク王家の跡目争いは皆知ってる。
Indirectly.
暗殺未遂と噂。さてしょうか。明日の会議にこれがどう影響するかな。
なるほど。この私が不利になるような命令は下せなくなる。
その通りです。トルケル殿を殿下から奪ったり、激戦地へ送り込んだりすれば噂の後押しになります。王というのは人気商売です。軍民の己に対する悪評は捨ておけんでしょう。
Mhm.
小殺しなんてのは特にね。悪知恵回るな。
Dorkel's like, where do you pull that out of your head?
力押しだけが戦じゃねってことだよ。勉強になったろ。
これで当分の間は王も手を出してこぬかもしれん。時間稼ぎには良い策だ。だが今後二度と私の身代わりを立てることは許さん。
Yeah, he wasn't happy.
申し訳ございません。
いやー、感服しましたぞ、アシュラット殿。
Holy shit, dude. The moment you open your mouth.
それはどうも。
では、お話が一段落したようですので、私はちょっと用足しへ。いやいや、本当に心強い。
殿下、グンナル殿を信用してはなりません。おそらくスベン王に通じています。
なぜそう思う？根拠を言え。
勘ですが間違いないでしょう。だとしたらやばくね？今の話も知られるぜ。かまあ、知られてもいいことしか話してねえ。
Yeah, no.
来るなら今の話を今夜中に伝えるでしょう。確認のためトルフィンに尾行させています。
グンナルが患者であればどうする？殺すか？
泳がせましょう。彼を通じてこちらが短期決戦を望んでないことを
clever.
患者からの情報なら信用し安心する。当面の争いを避けるにはお互いの了解が必要。
Play 4D chess, literally.
私の作戦は完成。おへ
I love Thor Kelly's like, oh,
明日の王陛下の反応が楽しみですな。
王の家か。決まりだな。どいつも騙し合いに夢中か。それが戦士のやることか。俺のやることは一つだ。
It's like all of these people with their little games. Also, nice Raven.
午前会議の前にどうしてもってわけか、トルフィン。
It's that time of the year again.
ってからの方がいいんじゃねえのか？まあ、いいけどな。ほら、どっちでも。
立会人は私が務める。私がやめろと言ったら決闘は終わりだ。双方良いな。
結構です。が、少々お待ちください、殿下。実は戦略がありまして、じきここに。
Ooh, okay, Björn is coming up.
悪いな、トルフィン。すぐ済む。
承知した。始めよ。
Alright, so his dying wish, I guess. It makes me wonder how Björn found, like, Aselat. How they got to know each other.
あんたを尊敬してる。あんたが俺を腹の底では嫌っていてもな。なあ、アシュランド。俺だけじゃねえ。あんたは死んだ仲間たちも自分自身でさえも。
Very likely.
寂しくねえのか。そんなに何もかも拒んで。
That's a question.
ほらさ、あんたと友達になりたかったんだよ。すまん、急所を外しちまった。すぐ楽に。足
あんたと友達。
ああ、ビョルン。お前は俺の
And only friends.
友達だ。
Yeah, that was genuine concern when he missed him. Yeah. I mean, wow. That's a real moment for him.
さて、待たせたな小僧。来い。遊んでやる。
Holy shit, dude. Really? Okay, next time. Alright, let's run it back. Couple of interesting points. We talked about the clever plot already. Very, very interesting what Ocelot has cooked up to be like, okay, got myself like an assassin arranged, and now we kind of indirectly put it into the heads of people that somebody wants the prince dead. And then we sow the rumor and be like, it kind of is the king, maybe. There's two heirs, and right? They already pieced a lot of that together for themselves, but we did it. And nice how we tie that back in with Leif. I know how Leif feels, but I think like it's almost patronizing of Leif. Like maybe let's start with that scene actually, because like we have that cool little like the prince arrives and he gets shot and everything, and it was a feint. But the big thing is Leif meeting Thorfinn and us actually him seeing how different Thorfinn suddenly is. The problem is he sees a funny joke, by the way, absolutely funny joke, absolutely funny joke, and their reaction and whatnot. But yeah, Leif sees the child. He doesn't see the teenager Thorfinn. He doesn't see the young man Thorfinn. It's been a long time. I think 15 years we said. He doesn't see the Thorfinn that exists today. And to me that feels unintended. Obviously, Leif has a lot of guilt here, internalized guilt, because he was there at the moment. He was present and witness to this. But it's patronizing of him to be like, you have done enough. Let's go home. Right? Thorfinn told him the keynotes of his story since then, but not everything, of course. So for him to, like, he can't fathom what he went through. But Thorfinn is interested in Vinland, which in my opinion is just like he's holding on to these things, right? He's still in that phase of his childhood. It almost feels like regression. Let's say defense mechanism in psychodynamic theory where you're going back to older or previous stages of your development, basically. Almost like he's holding on to this childhood dream of his, where he's like, okay, sometimes I see Vinland in my dreams. What happened? Have you settled there already? And Leif, I think, spent a lot of his time actually looking for Thorfinn, trying to find him out of all of the guilt that he had and whatnot, and maybe he didn't fulfill his own dreams. I'm talking out of my ass. I don't know the exact history of Leif Erikson, so don't draw and quarter me in the comments for that. But I'm just saying, the important thing for him is right now is Thorfinn and be like, oh, your mother, she isn't doing good, come back to her and whatever. He isn't considering at all how Thorfinn feels in that moment, right? That Thorfinn might not want to come back and confront a life that he kind of just lost touch with, a life that he doesn't even know anymore. Come back and explain all of these things, but also explain that he was never able to avenge his father. And obviously his mother wouldn't care about that, and his sister neither, but he does in his mind, right? There's this like huge disappointment if that doesn't happen, and I do also think he needs that closure for Asalat to die. Now, obviously, if he gets that closure when he kills Asalat is another question. He probably won't. But it is what he thinks he needs right now. And he's shutting himself off to a lot of like warmth and like, I mean, thinking about his mother, thinking about his sister, asking about them. That would implicate that he start to unpack and open up all of these feelings that he's buried deep inside in order to get his revenge, in order to get his closure, in order to kind of do right by his father. And yeah. It's not easy, because as soon as he starts unpacking that, I think there is the fear in him that he might want to go back and he might not want to have that revenge anymore. And that's not, like, he can't afford that in his own mind, I think. And I think that's what leads a lot of his, like, decision-making here, a lot of his, also, like, him challenging Asalat the next day, which is literally, that triggered him, basically, that conversation and what we talked about. It's a difficult position, but Leif, you're not gonna convince him in that moment. You're not gonna convince him here. Not with empathy, because that's not the way, like, that's not his language. That's not Thorfinn's language right now. It was never his language, to be fair. But he never made that development as well. He lived through big trauma, right? Prolonged trauma. Large periods of emotional deprivation, lack of any proper character development, right? Lack of any proper personality development. Yeah, a couple of moments here and there, right? Like, and when we have a lot of trauma, like probably for Thorfinn, well, his father died right in front of his eyes. The guy who killed his father took him in, manipulated him multiple times, used him for war. He killed a lot of people. He was attacked and hurt by a lot of people. He saw a lot of death and destruction and rape and all of these things. So I would assume that, and considering like he lived in war for the last 15-ish years or 10 years, I don't know how long it's been. I don't remember what year it was at the beginning of the series, but we would call that complex PTSD at this point. He has nightmares, he has emotional dreams, but he has probably largely amnesia regarding his time before that, right? Especially the traumatic moment and whatnot. He's dreaming of it, but it's probably only coming back to him in dreams and flashbacks and not in actual, like, when he's just pondering on it. Like, there's a lot to unpack. And I don't think, right, like, I don't think that's something that can just happen like that. And it won't happen when he kills Asalat either. When he kills Asalat, that will be the start of him being, like, suffering. Because he's prolonging, like, he's, like, just putting his suffering off to the future at the moment. I think. I might be wrong. I don't know. Yeah, as long as he breathes. But what comes after? And he sees, like, a guy destroyed, like a formerly happy kid. To be fair, Thorfinn always had, like, an angry streak. We saw that even in the first episode, okay? Like, let's not pretend this was a cheerful, nice, and empathetic guy. He was cheerful, yes. He was a cheerful little, like, kid playing hero and warrior and dreaming of Valhalla and just like having fun with it, right? Living his peaceful life in a village. But he was also a brat. He was also aggressive towards the others. He had some stuff in him, but I understand, like the contrast is huge. And what we have here is him stripped of all of that joy and happiness and obviously that would break Leif's heart. But at the very least he is alive and he can tell. Technically he can tell his mother and his sister that he is alive. Because you ain't gonna convince him to come back with you, my dude. You ain't. Alright, let's go to Björn and Asalat. I didn't know what they were talking about, but they didn't want us to know anyway. Cool setup, the way that the rooms are designed and the way like the chain is hanging here in the middle probably for the cooking pot or whatever. It was really cool. And we have that discussion. How good is your leg? Blah blah blah. Right. I can still hold a sword. And I was like, oh, okay, interesting. Like they're like he's asking about his, but it's about that duel that we didn't know about until the next morning. Swain is not in control right now, and we love it. And we got the incredibly well done metaphor with the spider web. Asalat is one beast of a schemer. I gotta give him that. He has so much wits. But Canute is drawing his lines clearly. He's like, you're not allowed to use a double again. I don't want anybody to fucking die for me. Right? It's okay because it happened and I didn't know about it, but in the future, no. And he's like, yes, all right, I'll take that. He's not... Yeah. And we got Thorfinn follow Gunnar. We confirmed that. Really cool transition with the shot into the Raven, and the Raven... Oh, Ravens often... Whatever, right? Really cool stuff. Oh, Ravens often stand for death and bad omen and whatever, right? Really cool stuff. Looking from the trees. Got Thorfinn going for the duel again, but interestingly enough, Canute is like, the duel ends when I say it does, and I assume he would say so before one of the two dies. Not what Thorfinn really wants, but he needs Asalat. Canute needs Asalat. Björn is getting his ass up here, and we're having that confrontation, and Björn says, like, he's straight up, he's like, I looked up to you, I respected you, right? You're clever, you're damn good. Even if you hate me, I wish you were my friend, right? And I don't know if this is like the wish you give to a dying man of being like, yeah, you were my friend. Because like this moment here, right? We have this moment, he's going in and Björn is like, oh shit. And Asla is like, oh damn, I didn't kill him, right? First of all, Asalat might be slipping, right? He might not be as skilled, right, with the injury in his leg as he expected to be. But Björn's like, I wanted to be your friend, and Asalat is like, you were my one and only friend, and I don't think it's been like, oh, okay, I tell him what he wants to hear. I think that was a genuine moment, right? One of the few people that Asalat really somewhat connected to, right? That he enjoys spending time with, even if he kinda low-key hated roughly all Danish, including himself. But that already proves something. If he hates himself, that doesn't mean that if he hates you, basically, that you weren't his friend to a degree. I mean, he did the same with Atli, where he sent him away and he was like, dude, never draw a sword, go back to being a farmer. he didn't need to give him the bracelet. He didn't need to tell him, dude, just get a wife and live your life. He could have just killed him. He could have just left him alone, whatever, right? Nobody would have missed this dude if he killed him, but he didn't. I think it's very easy for Asalat to forgive betrayal, I think, because he doesn't build connections that much, and he doesn't trust people, right? So he keeps people at arm's length, even if maybe, I mean, most human beings do want human connection. Most human beings do want to be loved and respected, and they do want to have like close relationships with people. But for people like Asalat, you can't afford to do that. With his history, and also, I think, with the plans he has going forward, he couldn't afford anything to get in his way. And I think it's almost the same for Canute. So there's this weird parallel between the two of them, even though both of them exist on a completely different realm, because Asalat was already pretty fucking cold when he started out. Canute just made the turn, and he's like, I'm accepting this for now, but I actually don't want to. But that there is the difference, but there's also a couple of really good parallels between Asalat and Canute now. But I think that was a genuine moment, and a weak moment for Asalat in the face of somebody like Thorfinn. A strong moment maybe for somebody like Canute, who saw this and was like, he's not just cruel and conniving and betraying everybody. He has a human side. Look at that, the shading on his face, it's very, very well done. It's really cool. He's like, I'll entertain you, but Thorfinn feels the rage from Asalat. The question is that good or is it bad, right? It could be good for Thorfinn, because that would mean Asalat is not in control, right? Asalat is shaky. He is emotionally compromised in this moment. He might not be as focused as he normally is. It could also be very bad, because his anger, his like, the tension he has here and the emotions he feels, he might use them to sharpen his resolve, right? He might be more cruel in this moment. He might be less playing around. He might be more akin to his actual normal skill. And that might not bode well for Thorfinn, because I don't know if Thorfinn can still, like, if Thorfinn is on one level with Asalat. The question is if Asalat has the capacity to reason in this moment. Because if he doesn't, maybe Thorfinn, with his quick, like he's super quick, he's super agile, he is strong, so there is the possibility that Thorfinn can overwhelm an Asalat who is not thinking straight, right? Who is not like the normal conniving, scheming guy. But it could also be the entire other way around, right? So we don't know. And the question is, what does Thorfinn decide? Is Thorfinn looking at that and being like, no, we'll do it another time? Because either he wants to win an honorable duel rather than a duel where Asalat might not be at his top. Or he's like, oh damn, this might make him unpredictable. So I'd rather not do that, because that's giving me less chances to actually beat him and kill him. We'll see next time. This was Vinland Saga, Season 1, Episode 21. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. Leave me a like if you like this episode. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate that. Check out my Patreon if you want to. There's always like full length and full length and early access stuff on there, if that would be something for you, or if you just want to support me or give me like an idea of like what you would like me to watch next or whatever. Check out the tiers. They're not all up to date in terms of descriptions, but all you need to know is like, so far it's still 1 episode early access, then 2 episode early access, and then everything beyond that is kind of just like, if I have more right now, you'll get it, and otherwise I'll have an ear out for whatever you say when it comes to potential reactions in the future, or also just like after, because I'm going to change the channel a bit in terms of like the content, not completely, but I'm going to do less reactions. I'm going to maybe do more like video essays. So if you want me to do something there and might have a good essay topic or something, do let me know. That would be cool. Yeah, I'll see you next time.